The story centers on a young violin performer, Karolina Protsenko, whose rise to recognition is portrayed as a blend of natural talent, family influence, and modern digital exposure. From an early age, she is described as someone whose musical abilities stood out far beyond what would typically be expected of a teenager. Her performances, especially violin covers of well-known pop and film songs, are presented as emotionally engaging and technically impressive, drawing attention from audiences across different countries. The narrative frames her as a musician who bridges classical training with contemporary music styles, allowing her to appeal to both traditional music lovers and younger audiences who discover her through social media platforms. What makes her story compelling in this retelling is not just her skill, but the way her music is said to connect with listeners emotionally, creating a sense of shared experience even across cultural and language barriers. The account also emphasizes how digital platforms amplify young talent today, allowing performances recorded in simple public spaces or home settings to reach millions. Her rise is presented as part of a broader phenomenon where young musicians can gain global recognition through consistency, creativity, and audience engagement. This introduction sets the tone for a larger journey that includes her upbringing, training, public performances, online success, and evolving artistic identity as a modern violinist navigating fame at a young age. Early life, family background, and relocation to the United States. Karolina Protsenko is described as being born in Kyiv, Ukraine, into a family with strong musical roots. Her parents are portrayed as musically inclined individuals who helped shape her early exposure to instruments and sound. Growing up in such an environment is presented as a key influence in her development, as music was not treated as an external activity but as a natural part of daily life. The narrative states that her family later moved to the United States when she was still very young, settling in California. This relocation is depicted as a major turning point, providing her with broader opportunities for education, performance, and artistic exposure. Adjusting to a new country is implied to have been a significant transition, yet music served as a consistent thread that helped maintain stability and identity. She is also described as growing up with siblings, occasionally sharing her musical interests with them and encouraging their own learning. The story highlights how family support plays an essential role in nurturing artistic talent, especially during formative years. Living in California is portrayed as beneficial due to its cultural diversity and access to music programs, teachers, and public performance spaces. This environment is said to have contributed to her development as a performer who blends discipline with creativity. Overall, this section emphasizes how early environment and relocation shaped her foundation as a musician and future public figure. Musical education, training, and skill development. The narrative explains that, although Karolina is often perceived as a naturally gifted musician, her progress is also attributed to structured learning and formal training. After moving to the United States, she is described as beginning violin lessons with a professional instructor who helped her build foundational classical techniques. This stage of learning is presented as crucial, as it allowed her to develop proper posture, bow control, musical interpretation, and an understanding of classical repertoire. The story emphasizes that talent alone is not sufficient for mastery, and that disciplined practice played a major role in shaping her abilities. Over time, she is said to have participated in workshops, group sessions, and master classes, exposing her to different musical perspectives and performance styles. These experiences are portrayed as broadening her artistic range beyond classical violin into more modern and experimental interpretations. Her dedication to practice is highlighted as a defining characteristic, with consistent improvement allowing her to take on increasingly complex musical arrangements. The narrative also suggests that she became interested in exploring different genres, adapting pop songs and contemporary hits into violin performances that maintained emotional depth while showcasing technical skill. This combination of formal instruction and creative exploration is framed as the foundation of her unique musical identity, enabling her to stand out in both traditional and modern performance spaces. Street performances and the beginning of public recognition. One of the most defining stages in Karolina's journey is described as her early public performances in open spaces, particularly in well-known pedestrian areas in California. She is portrayed as performing in places like busy promenades where passers-by would stop to listen to her violin music. These street performances are presented as both practice and exposure, allowing her to refine her stage presence while interacting directly with live audiences. The narrative emphasizes the emotional impact of these performances, describing how people would gather, sometimes staying for extended periods to listen. This environment is said to have helped her develop confidence and adaptability as she learned to perform under unpredictable conditions such as noise, weather, and crowd movement. Her music is portrayed as having a calming and captivating effect, often drawing attention from tourists and locals alike. Over time, recordings of these performances are said to have circulated online, contributing to her growing recognition beyond physical locations. This transition from street performer to online sensation reflects a broader modern trend where public performances can quickly reach global audiences through digital sharing. The story frames this period as a turning point where her talent began to move from local admiration to international attention, laying the groundwork for her future online presence and media appearances. Online growth, viral videos, and digital music presence. As the narrative continues, Karolina's rise is strongly linked to the expansion of her presence on online platforms. Her violin covers of popular songs are described as gaining rapid attention, accumulating large numbers of views and shares across video platforms. The story highlights how modern audiences often discover musicians through short clips or viral content, and she is portrayed as benefiting from this digital ecosystem. Her repertoire is said to include a wide variety of songs, ranging from emotional ballads to upbeat contemporary hits, all adapted for violin performance. This versatility is presented as one of the key reasons for her online popularity. Additionally, she is described as managing multiple channels dedicated to different types of content, such as solo performances, collaborations, and vocal or instrumental experiments. The narrative also mentions that her audience spans multiple countries, illustrating the global nature of online music distribution. Engagement from viewers is described as highly interactive, with comments, shares, and fan-made content contributing to her visibility. This section emphasizes how digital platforms have transformed the way musical talent is discovered and sustained, allowing young performers like her to build careers without relying solely on traditional music industry structures. Her success online is framed as a combination of consistency, adaptability, and emotional connection through music, television appearances, and media exposure. The story also describes Karolina's appearances on televised programs as an important milestone in her growing career. She is portrayed as being invited to perform on popular entertainment shows, where her talent is showcased to live studio audiences and wider television viewers. These appearances are framed as opportunities for her to transition from online recognition to mainstream media visibility. During such performances, she is described as presenting emotionally expressive violin covers that highlight both technical precision and artistic interpretation. The narrative suggests that these moments helped solidify her reputation as a serious young musician rather than just an internet personality. In addition to performances, she is also depicted as participating in interviews where she discusses her musical journey, inspirations, and aspirations. These conversations are presented as giving audiences insight into her personality beyond music, emphasizing humility, dedication, and enthusiasm. The exposure from television is described as expanding her fan base and opening doors to further collaborations and opportunities. This section highlights the role of traditional media in validating and amplifying talent that initially gained traction online. It also reflects the blending of digital and mainstream platforms in shaping modern entertainment careers. Competitive performances and collaboration with other young artists. Another important part of the narrative involves Karolina's participation in collaborative performances and talent showcases. She is described as performing alongside other young musicians and vocalists in structured performance settings, where teamwork and musical harmony are emphasized. These collaborations are portrayed as emotionally powerful, combining violin melodies with vocal performances to create layered musical experiences. The story suggests that such partnerships allowed her to expand her artistic expression and learn how to adapt her playing style to complement other performers. One highlighted aspect is her ability to synchronize with singers, creating performances where violin and voice merge seamlessly. These experiences are framed as valuable not only for artistic growth, but also for building confidence in collaborative environments. The narrative also portrays audience reactions as highly positive, with performances often receiving praise for emotional depth and technical coordination. This section emphasizes the importance of artistic synergy and shared creativity in developing as a performer. It also reflects how young artists today often collaborate across genres and disciplines to create unique and memorable performances that appeal to diverse audiences. Influence of established violinists and artistic inspiration. The story describes Karolina as being inspired by well-known modern violinists who blend classical technique with contemporary performance styles. These influences are portrayed as shaping her artistic direction and encouraging her to experiment beyond traditional classical boundaries. She is said to admire performers who incorporate movement, stage presence, and modern music into violin performance, making the instrument more accessible to wider audiences. This inspiration is presented as motivating her to explore not only instrumental music but also expressive performance elements such as stage choreography and emotional storytelling through sound. The narrative suggests that exposure to such artists helped her understand that classical instruments can evolve within modern entertainment contexts. She is also described as seeking opportunities to learn from professional musicians through workshops and mentorship experiences. These interactions are portrayed as enriching her understanding of musical expression and performance dynamics. Overall, this section emphasizes how artistic influence plays a crucial role in shaping identity, especially for young musicians navigating evolving musical landscapes. It highlights the importance of inspiration, adaptation, and continuous learning in building a sustainable artistic career. Social media influence, audience reach, and financial speculation. As her popularity grows, the narrative turns toward her online influence and the scale of her audience engagement. She is described as having a large following across multiple social media platforms, where she shares performances, behind-the-scenes content, and musical experiments. The story emphasizes how consistent content creation contributes to maintaining audience interest and expanding reach. It also discusses the financial aspects of online success, suggesting income from advertisements, sponsorships, and digital music distribution. However, these figures are presented as speculative estimates rather than confirmed data. The narrative highlights how modern musicians often diversify income streams through merchandise, live performances, and brand collaborations. This section frames her as part of a broader digital creator economy where artistic talent and online presence intersect. It also emphasizes the unpredictability of online fame, where audience engagement can fluctuate based on trends and content visibility. Despite this, she is portrayed as maintaining steady growth due to her musical consistency and adaptability. The focus here is less on exact earnings and more on the broader idea of how digital platforms can transform artistic careers into multi-channel opportunities. Instrument identity, Stradivarius legacy, and musical prestige. A significant symbolic element in the narrative is the violin itself, which is described as central to her identity as a performer. The story references the historical prestige of Stradivarius-style instruments, known for their craftsmanship and tonal quality. These violins are often associated with elite classical musicianship and are considered among the most valuable string instruments in the world. The narrative suggests that playing such an instrument enhances both the sound quality and the artistic perception of a performer. It also describes the fascination surrounding the construction and acoustic properties of these violins, including their unique wood composition and historical craftsmanship techniques. This section connects her artistic image with the broader legacy of classical music tradition, suggesting that her performances carry both modern energy and classical depth. The instrument is portrayed not just as a tool but as an extension of artistic expression, shaping the emotional impact of each performance. This combination of historical instrument prestige and modern performance style reinforces her identity as a bridge between classical heritage and contemporary musical interpretation. Conclusion: legacy and progress, and future artistic direction. In conclusion, the narrative presents Karolina Protsenko as a young musician whose journey reflects the evolving nature of modern musical success. Her story is framed as a blend of early talent, structured training, public performance experience, and digital platform growth. From street performances to online recognition and televised appearances, she is portrayed as someone steadily building a multifaceted career in music. The conclusion emphasizes that her journey is still ongoing, with many potential directions for future artistic development. These possibilities include continued collaborations, expanded musical experimentation, and deeper engagement with global audiences. The narrative also highlights the broader message that young artists today can achieve visibility and influence through dedication, adaptability, and creative expression. Rather than presenting a finished career, the story positions her as an evolving artist whose future will be shaped by both opportunity and continued artistic exploration.